Paltrocast. For me, it's good morning. For you, it's good afternoon, almost good evening, right?
It's 3:30 in the afternoon, yeah, over here in Stourbridge, England, yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time. How's your day going aside from being asked the same questions over and over and over again from
Yeah, it's
clickbait
good.
journalists?
It's really hot. I mean, which is unusual for England. We've had a lot of hot weather lately. One of the driest springs, and I think May, one of the driest May on for 100 years. So yeah, it's really hot over here. But yeah, I'm going well. I'm still plugging away.
You are. I mean, you have your day job with Saxon. You've got this
Mhm.
new Diamond Head catalog. Is it okay to call it a catalog piece rather than anything else?
Yeah, it's not a new album, is it? As in studio album, it's a live album. It's you know, it's got most of the big Diamond Dead songs on and
Sure.
some some other things from the last couple of albums. The Diamond Dead album, the Coffin Train, etc.
Right. So it's got recordings from, I believe, five or six different shows on that tour that you did along Saxon. Was that the start of your friendship with Saxon, or had you known those guys for decades?
Yes, well, yeah, probably decades, but because we would run into each other at festivals and even airports. Sometimes we'd just run. We would be at the same airport and we'd go and say hello. And Biff and I both, and Sean rather, did the 30th anniversary of Metallica's. When they did 4 nights at the Forum in San
Yes, San
Francisco.
Francisco.
Yes,
Yeah.
they invited myself and Sean over to do Diamond Head songs, and they invited Biff over, and he was at the same gig, so we met up there and chatted. And then Diamond Head and Saxon were on the same record label and the same management around 2018 onwards. So we started getting more shows with Saxon. We would open for them in Germany, and we did some UK dates and things like that. We did Hammersmith Odeon. So I think we were just more in each other's orbit. And then, of course, we got this big tour in 2022 where we did 22 dates in Europe and then 14 dates in the UK. And that is when we hit on the idea of recording the shows for a potential live album. And we had that luxury of we could just record every night on this digital desk,
Mhm.
download everything onto a hard drive and then review it all later without masses of extra cost, that it would have been
Right.
years ago. You'd have had 2-inch tape, you'd have had to hire the Rolling Stones mobile or something.
Yeah.
And it became very costly. So we did all that back in the day in the 80s. But you would only be able to record one gig, and it would put a lot of pressure on that show to be as good as possible. So this was such a luxury. First time we've ever had it. And so this is the first live album in 20 years, and we've been able to, pick carefully different performances from the 14 nights.
Sure. I know some bands who've done a similar thing where they compiled a live album from a tour. And those bands that I've known generally didn't want to listen back to that whole tour. They went to management and went, you and you, listen to it, pick out what's good, and then we'll QC it at the end. In your case, did you actually listen to every single show?
Yes. We spent a couple of days going over it, and we'd do a big chart on the wall with every show and every song, and we'd go through because we'd have 14 versions of "Am I Evil" to listen to,
Yes.
and in the heat of the night, etc. But we would we'd go into the track and then we'd decide, yes, it sounds like a good one, keep it. Or if it wasn't good, or if it was a bit fast or whatever, then you would put a cross through it, and then that's not going to happen. We couldn't use the whole of the first show because the bass drum mic wasn't working, so that's a
Oh,
scratch. Then we didn't use any of the last show, which was London, because Raz's voice was a bit worn out by then, and he's just not happy with it. It wasn't on full steam. So we got rid of a couple of shows straight off the bat, and then it was quite laborious to do a couple of days of just listening and making notes about all the songs. But we got there. It's a job that needed to be done, and I didn't mind doing it. It was myself and Abs went over, and I think Paul popped in. But it's produced by Jay, who was our front of house guy, and he's got a studio in the Midlands, and Raz, who produced the Coffin Train album.
So you mentioned the Metallica shows that they did in San Francisco, the anniversary shows and all that. And I'm thinking offhand, I don't know if anybody has done more guest appearances with Metallica on stage than you. Would I be wrong in saying that? Because you were doing it in the early 90s, and then you've been in Oslo, London, San Francisco. I don't think anyone else has done more guest slots.
Well, that's nice to know. If I'm the lucky guy who got to do the most. I didn't know that, but you may well be right. I mean, I haven't been keeping score. The first time I played with Metallica was at Birmingham Odeon in 1986 on the Master of Puppets tour. And I got to play with Cliff Burton, which was, lovely. And unfortunately, Cliff died a week later. Like, this was, I think, the 20th of September 1986. And then a week later was the coach crash, which was, a shock and terrible. But that was so weird to think I've just met this guy and now he's gone. But yeah, over the years we've got up with them, in like you say, the 90s, and I did the 100 Club, which was a warm up for download in like, I don't know, 87, something like that. So yeah, quite a few times really over the years. But yeah, could be. That'd be nice if I'm in the Guinness Book of Records for most guest appearances.
Well, even if you're not in the most, I don't know if anybody else has been on stage with Cliff and Jason Newsted and Robert. I don't know if anyone else guested with all three of them.
Good point. That's a good point.
So all
badge if I can.
All that said, it's been refreshing and positive to me, at least, to see how much you've embraced Metallica, because a lot of people, when they see that they've influenced somebody and that person has gone on to be monstrously successful, they can be bitter. In your case, I never got an ounce of bitter vibes. I got celebratory vibes out of you in the band.
Totally. I totally appreciate what Metallica have done and how hard they've worked for that success. They started with nothing, and they were an uncommercial band, weren't they, to begin with? The proposition wasn't like, here comes the big time, let's lots of hit records and radio play. It was underground, very heavy, very fast. No one had a clue they would become the biggest heavy metal band of all time. And I salute the work. I've watched their career rise with fascination. They've done what I would have liked to have done, but I was just not able to do so. But it's not
Q Prime.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
And I'm not jealous in the slightest, because they totally earned their, I've just masses of respect.
But Metallica is not the only band who's covered songs you've written. I find it fascinating that Men at Work also covered. But when did you start to realize that publishing was going to be saving grace? I ask that because a lot of artists I know who are songwriters still don't understand what publishing is all these years later.
Right. Well, that's a shame, because you need to get on that. You need an education in publishing. I didn't know. I was in that category that I didn't know what publishing was. I hadn't a clue. I understood that if you sold loads of records, then you'd probably make some money. But I didn't understand about the writer's royalties, which is publishing. And also, if someone covered your song, you would get the writer's share, the publishing. So it did take me a while. And when we were first covered, we were still in the red to Zomba, and
BMG Samba, I remember them. Yeah.
yeah, Zomba, and it's now with Concord Copyrights, but we didn't get money at first because we had to pay off the advance and all that that still hadn't paid off from the Diamond Head albums. But also, we'd signed some of the songs away to a small publisher in the Midlands called Happy Face Music. And we didn't really know anything about this deal other than it seemed in hindsight to be a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
And when we finally realized what it was, that we'd signed away our publishing, we had to get legal and get it back, really. And it took a number of years. So we probably did lose some money in that interim. But fortunately, as you know, Metallica went on and on and on, covered
Yes.
more and more songs. So the money has found its way through to myself and Sean, and we're okay. Thank you for asking.
I'm so glad to hear that it's a positive publishing story, to say the least. And you, of course, make headlines because in promoting this new live release, people are getting the Brian says he has no interest in Diamond Head kind of stuff. I'm not grilling you on that. I'm just curious, do you see any possibility that there would be a one-off in the future, like the right festival offer, and you'd come back for a gig or two?
Yeah, I absolutely think that. I haven't said that I have no interest in Diamond Head.
Oh, sorry, you got misquoted.
Yeah, okay. But I can imagine, people look for a big headline.
Yeah.
They probably want to some juicy, headline. And so something like that is more interesting than me saying, yeah, I'm happy to do Diamond Head. And I mean, it's my baby, isn't it? Diamond Head. I formed the band in 1976, and I have no intention of it ever stopping, But this golden opportunity came along 2 years ago to join Saxon, and I had to take it. And everybody wished me well and said it was a no-brainer,
Yeah.
To do this gig. So yeah, I'm more than happy doing it. But I didn't want Diamond Head to stop. I thought the other guys might throw their toys at the pram and go, oh well, forget it then, type thing. But everybody, I think, has got a love for Diamond Head, and we all would like it to continue. But they can also appreciate that I have to do the right thing. And I have to look after myself, and I have to take an opportunity that's given. And any other member of the band would have done the same if they had been offered the chance to move up that ladder several rungs,
So a lot more to be expected from Saxon in 2025 and 2026, I assume?
Yes. We've started the writing process for the next album, which will come out end of 2026. Yeah, that's all underway. And then we're coming up to festival season. We did one the other weekend in France, and we've got loads coming up in July, August.
So it sounds like you're not tired of touring. I mention that because most bands that formed in the late 70s just talk about how tired they are, how routine touring is, etc. But it seems like you've found a love for it again.
I've always enjoyed playing, and even when Diamond Head had stopped, we split up twice, and in those gaps, I still played because I would join other bands. I did covers bands, I did tribute bands, I did anything to just keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy music so much that I want to keep going. I do not want to pack it in. I've never thought I'm going to sell my gear and that'll do. I think the only thing that would stop me would be health. If I couldn't play anymore, I had a health issue, then I'd have to say, okay, fair enough. But nothing else is going to stop me from doing what I love doing, and I've been loving it since I was a teenager.
Well, two quick questions for you, and then I let you go. And the first one is, all we really know about you, Brian, is that's the guy from Diamond Head, that is a pioneer of British heavy metal, that has crossed over for years, influential guitar player, etc. That's all we really know about you. What's the main hobby when you're not busy with touring and recording?
The main hobby? Well, I mean, just I just enjoy. I'm married. I've got two stepkids. I've got a grandson. So we spend time, family time. I cycle.
Hmm.
I go swimming once a week. I like to read. I love films, so I watch quite a lot of films. So I take my pleasure where I can, and try and enjoy myself, enjoy my life, and that's it. That's it. Try and stay fit if possible, because I don't want to get a heart attack and keel over type thing.
Right. And then my last question is, people kind of just think of you as a metal guy. What are some of the artists that you're a big fan of that we might be surprised that you're into? Are you into
Okay,
any softer music? Any
of
easy listening?
course, of course, I can't just listen to metal all the time. I
Exactly.
hear such a lot of it, especially on the road and at festivals. And that's probably my first love, rock. Rock is definitely my first love ever since the 70s, when I grew up listening to the big guys like the Black Sabbaths and Zeppelins and things. But I also, for pleasure, quite like choral music, because I
Mm.
think it's very relaxing. There's no drums in it, there's no guitars. I don't have to think about the guitar parts or what I'm hearing or how good the player is or or the song, how well written it is. It's just harmony it's very relaxing. But I also like bands like Steely Dan. I like Crowded House,
Mm.
U2, Jellyfish, Gentle Giant.
Jellyfish, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
brilliant. And do you know it bites?
Yeah, excellent band. I've interviewed a
Oh,
few of them, and
yeah, I love It Bites. I'm obsessed with It Bites at the moment. They only did 3 albums with
yes.
Francis Dunnery, and I saw them twice, and I thought they should have been much bigger, and it's a shame. But yeah, there's loads and loads of bands that I really, really like, not just metal bands. Yeah.
In the case of Jellyfish, before I let you go, did you hear of the band that they all did without Andy Sturmer called the Licorice Quartet? They've put out some EPs in the last year or two.
Okay, I've heard of it, but I haven't listened to them. So is that on Spotify? It probably is, isn't
It
it?
is on Spotify. It's, yeah. Well,
Okay.
you've got great taste, Brian. That's what I've just
Okay.
learned. But thank you for the decades of great art. Hope to see you live with Saxon and hope to get more archival Diamond Head stuff in the future.
Great. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Paltrow.